we're stepping into a quick presentation. Not so quick, but it will be hopefully get you going. We'll have you stand in. Again, please consult the mirror to make sure that your unmentionables are in order when you do stand up, because we are going to need you to stand just for a little bit. Drilling ceremonies. Let's bow our heads before we go forth. Father in heaven, again, Lord, we are here to learn. We're here to be directed by your Holy Spirit. Father, we are not here to exalt ourselves. We're not here to bring glory to ourselves. We're here to bring glory to you. We're here, Father, so that we may learn from each other. And that, Father, that as we prepare ourselves, we are able to prepare our young people, because, Father, we believe you're coming soon. We thank you for each and every one online, and we ask that you bless them. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Drilling ceremonies. We're going to talk a little bit about the philosophy of drill, and we're going to look a little bit on ceremonies. Normally, with this presentation, we probably spend about 20 minutes on the theory part, and then we get you up and moving. But based on the venue, we're not able to do that. We're also going to repeat a few things that you may have seen before, just so we can emphasize this presentation so that you can learn a little bit from it. I am going to try to go to full screen, so hopefully this doesn't go AWOL on me, but here we go. You see in full screen now?
Yes.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So let's move on. Okay, we're looking at the philosophy of drill. All right, we want to understand what it is that we're doing, what is our aim. And our aim is to bring young people to the saving grace of our Lord and Jesus Christ. That's the Pathfinder overall philosophy. When Sister Dixie had mentioned that in her presentation, right, about what the ministry is all about, to bring our young people to saving grace for Lord Jesus and training them for mission. And training them for mission, in one presentation, it said is one of the most. Well, you notice I've got a line through one off. I believe training our young people for mission is the most important mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And as Pastor had mentioned earlier, that the church did not start with people over 40. It didn't start with people over 30. And as a matter of fact, some of them were in their teenage years when they got started. So, we have to start with our young people now and build them up for the mission. So why is this important? And why is drilling an important part of the ministry? In Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6, it says, train up a child in the way it should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And part of our mission in drill, and why we brought it into, well, we're going to get into a little bit later on, but our intent here is to train up our children in where they will go. In Matthew 28:18-20, it says, then Jesus came to them and said, all authority is given in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go. And this is what he told his disciples as he was sending them. He said, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you, Jesus said. So Jesus said, go make disciples, and then go and come and teach them to do all the things that was commanded to you, all that's commanded to you and I. And then Jesus left the assurance that surely I am with you always to the very end of age. So what does this all have to do with drill? Well, again, let's look at our purpose for the ministry of pathfinding. One is to create an atmosphere, and again, some of these I'm just reiterating, create an atmosphere of love, create an atmosphere of acceptance. Secondly, is to provide positive church-centered recreational program. Then we're looking at the purpose. In Pathfinder, the ministry, we're aiming to use ministry to develop good character, good citizens. To work for the salvation of each Pathfinder is our main duty. All of us who are online today, right? We're here not just because we want to get a pin and a badge, but we're here because we're serious about ministry, not about a Pathfinder club, but about ministry. We're here to develop appreciation for nature, to learn how to appreciate so we can teach them how to appreciate nature. We're also here to teach Pathfinders skills and hobbies to help make life meaningful. And there's some Pathfinders that learn how to cook through Pathfinding. Some people who have never been out and outdoors got an opportunity. We also give them opportunities for leadership. And I believe the survey was, I think it was 13 individuals that were under the age of 18, I believe, or between in that area. And looks like these are individuals who have come through the Pathfinder program and they're now moving into leadership programs. So obviously from those clubs that they're coming, they're done their job. To develop a balanced physical, mental, social, and spiritual life, and also to guide youth into active missionary service. That is our aim. Now, when it comes to moving forward into Pathfinding, we want our children, once they have been taught, to appreciate the leadership role that they're called to. It's not a joke. It's not a something that we just want something to jump into for sake of jumping into. We want individual to understand the responsibility that comes along with it. So again, let's now move into the philosophy of drilling. And let's look at the introduction to drill and its purpose. I'm going to play a quick video here.
By the left! Quick! March!
Stand at ease!
Shouting words of command on drill is carried out by military personnel around the world.
Left! Turn!
But, as with everything in the military, it takes training to hit the decibels required. The Royal Canadian Air Force is no exception. They're in the UK on guarding duties at London landmarks for a month. In preparation for their time here, leaders whose jobs back in Canada don't usually involve shouting attended a voice clinic by the drum major.
Why is it that people in the military have to shout the orders so loudly, like is so well knownly done?
Well, it goes back to the traditions of the military, right? If you are in battle, you actually have to scream to make sure that your orders go over the cannons and all the noise of the battle. But also, when you're outside on a large field, like it is at Buckingham Palace, you want to make sure that all your troops will be able to hear the different calls.
So just how do you learn to project your voice this way?
Tense, and then
Oh.
just a, hey!
Just A.
Yeah.
A!
Hey!
A!
All right.
A!
There we go. All right, so let's do that one more time. Hold it. So breathe in, breathe out a little bit, and hold your A.
Okay. A!
All right.
So you think that's enough then for me to, that's all I need to know?
You know, if you want to go against Sergeant Donovan, I'd be fine with that.
Do you reckon I've got a chance?
Oh, yeah.
Squad!
Little did Sergeant Donovan know, Drum Major Grinnan had set the squad up to only respond to my command.
Let's do that again. Squad! You guys gotta move ahead.
Squad! Attention! Someone should have had a few more vocal lessons, I think.
It doesn't feel good.
How would you rate Donovan and I over that drill there?
You have a very promising career.
Oh, there you go. Could be taking your job, Donovan.
I don't think so. You can't get my hatred.
Personnel from the Royal Canadian Air Force are in the UK until the 15th of July.
High five on that.
High five.
Lisa Hartle, Forces News.
Do you want to hug it out?
Yeah, let's hug it out.
Yeah.
I showed that clip for a number of reasons. And I just want to get a little bit of feedback from you as to what you think about that clip. What did you see? What did you hear? Did you see anything or hear anything that can parallel our ministry as we are moving into Pathfinder? Is there anything you see there that you believe is significant to Pathfinder?
What I think, we don't need to shout to get the Pathfinder's attention.
Okay. You don't need to get the Pathfinder's attention. And have you heard that before?
No, I mean, say we don't need to shout to get their attention.
Okay, and I'm saying this, we don't need, but have you heard anyone say that before, about a comment about the shouting of drill in Pathfinder?
Not really.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Did you pick up anything from this?
Yeah, but one other thing also, she has to learn to manage her voice, and even though we may not shout to have them drill, but to manage her voice when we're preaching is one thing also, or to when
Yes.
we're
Okay, managing. Okay, anyone else?
So I noticed that the soldier, that they told the soldiers to listen to her commands. And so it was some sort of direction, and they actually followed that direction.
Okay, all right. Anyone else?
Well, yeah, some parents, the question you ask about if anybody parents are the one who actually will complain that they're shouting at their children.
Okay. All right.
Drilling is about discipline, and there was discipline showed there wherein they followed the command that was given by the higher rank.
Okay.
So,
all right.
You also have to have a commanding voice.
Okay, you have to have a commanding voice. All right. Thank you all.
I think that knowing why you do something is extremely important. Remember, the sergeant said because of the cannon and other stuff, you have to shout about so your message can be brought across.
The person that talked about the cannon and shouting above that noise, I picked that and I thought, how is that significant to Pathfinder, the ministry? And we have to teach in that the discipline to go and do what we have to do, and there will be a lot of noise. And we have to learn, we have to teach our Pathfinders how to get above the noise. I'm not talking about shouting. I'm talking about getting above the noise.
Someone said not shouting, but I guess Chester spoke to it. But whilst it's not shouting, your command have to be above what is happening around you. Additionally, let's say you're on a drill square or you're on a parade, Pathfinders are going to react to how you give a command. So if your command is lackluster, they're going to act that way. If your command is powerful, robust, strong, they are going to respond accordingly. So whilst you may not shout, it still has to be powerful, which would eventually lead to shouting.
Okay. All right. And the last comment.
Andrew Gordon.
Yes, in giving command, the executive and the execution of the command is critical, and that is taken from how the command is actually given, where the executive to get their attention, and then the execution is crisp and clear for them to move towards that command.
That's right.
Specific.
So you as the leader, you as the commanding officer, which you all are and will be as we move out of these sessions, and as you move towards completing your Master Guide program, you now become the commanding officer, and you have to learn how to present. You have to learn how to command without being injurious. And you also have to learn how to get your message across above the noise. You notice the reaction to the commanding officer when the reporter was standing next to him and he was given the command. Nobody reacted. Did you watch? Did you notice his reaction? You didn't know what was going on, but he did not react. He did not react negatively towards his squadron, right? He calmly tried to ascertain as to what's going on until they finally came. So we have to learn how to move and do that. All right, so let's move on. Next, All right, so what is the purpose of our Pathfinder drill? Number one, it is intended to establish order. Drill is intended to produce discipline. It is intended to command self-control. It is intended to create morale. Also, it is intended to gain respect. You got to gain respect from your pathfinders, right? And this leads to them understanding what obedience is, right? Out of this, you learn, you build camaraderie, you build fellowship, you produce enjoyment, and you create great leadership. A lot of people do not like drill. I remember my two girls, while they were in adventures, they couldn't wait to get to Pathfinder. And I spent many hours at home because they wanted to learn how to do it. It was fun. And so leaders, we have to learn how to make Pathfinder drilling fun. Drill play a considerable role in the development of the Pathfinder's physical, mental, and psychologically. So we have to learn, once done right, the drill becomes a very, very important part of our ministry. So why have drill? Where did it come from? How did it get into Pathfinder, right? We talk about establishing order. Well, mostly drill became important as a way to move youth from one spot to another. For those of you who are currently leaders in your churches, have been involved in leadership, one of the best way to get your pathfinders to move, especially on a drill site or camp and so forth, is to get them in formation. You get them in formation, you can move them. So that's one of the reasons why it came in, right? They're looking, how do we get these pathfinders to move when we need to move from place to place? Then what's the best way to do it? You know, you ever been in a campsite and you get the kids them to move from one place, and you got 3 over there, 2 over there, 5 over there, and you're forever waiting for them? What all you do is call pathfinders fall in and look at the difference that happened. It establishes discipline, right? Part of the reason why drill was introduced is to get the pathfinders to learn how to listen, right? The first mention found about drill in Pathfinder is in the 1940s. And of course, during that time, the war is going on and men were coming back from war and back to their churches. And so some of these men made good drill instructors, as long as they maintain the spirituality and as long as they kept themselves keyed on what's going on, and they remember to keep kindness in the program. So the part of this kindness comes out of self-control. I have seen drill commanders that are way out of control, and I'm talking about pathfinders. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been in the military. Anybody ever been associated with any of the Canadian Armed Forces? I know as a child, I was. So sometimes that comes out in me. Anybody else ever been in the Canadian Armed Forces? Cadets? Anybody ever been a cadet? No cadets?
Yes.
Oh, all right. We have a few cadets. All right. And what was your experience with cadets?
It was fun. Very disciplined. You have to be disciplined.
Discipline. That's the word I keep here coming. Discipline.
Yeah, gotta be disciplined.
Right? Absolutely. And self-control.
Police officer, but outside of Canada.
Outside of Canada. All right. You know, and you're talking about the discipline part of it, right? Another aspect we bring to it, another dimension as to, we're now talking about how drill got introduced to Pathfinder. A gentleman by the name of Clark Smith was a military man, so it was given that he would write the first Pathfinder drill manual. He had previously written the first MCC drill manual. Anybody remember what MCC stands for?
Master Cadet?
Close, Master Comrades.
Master
Comrades. So he actually wrote the first drill manual. I think Dixie mentioned it in her presentation. And later, when the manual was updated and revised by Clark Smith and Harry Garlick, And also military men. In fact, Harry, talk about where he's buried, did the honors of updating the drill manual. Now, this is the American drill manual. We're not speaking about the Canadian drill manual yet. This is when Pathfinder drill was first introduced to Pathfinder. Drill creates morale. Drill was not for punishment and for a long time standing at attention. Some of us, we use drill as a punishment. Drill is not to be used as a punishment because you can get a Pathfinder who will really dislike Pathfinder because of drilling. Drilling is for discipline. It builds teamwork, and when you do drill, you have to learn how to pull the team together so that they can understand the whole fundamental and dynamics of drill. In the cadets, when I was in the cadets, I was actually in the Moss Park Armory down by Jarvis and Queen is where I used to attend. And I remember being there, and you are fully committed, volunteering but fully committed. And I remember being on the parade square, and I remember my fellow colleagues dropping beside me, because when you're told to stand at attention, you don't move. You could have a bee sit on your nose. You cannot move. No, we don't do that in Pathfinder, but we extract from that things that can help with discipline. Drill is fun and activities. When we first got started drill back in the 70s, 80s, right? I remember downtown, I'm from Toronto Perth Church, and we used to have this competition with T West and others, right? And it used to be great fun. We used to love drilling. Kids are a little bit different today. It creates fellowship, as we mentioned, and helps the members feel like they really belong to a sharp program. Now, I'm going to go to this other video quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, to your left, you will notice all of the officers of the regiment begin promenading. The promenade is a time-honored tradition conducted by officers prior to taking positions in front of the ceremonial guards.
Let's get some feedback. What did you see? What observation did you make?
I can see that there's cadence in the drums and the marching, so all in uniformity.
I like when they're moving, they are using also the beat of the drum, so it helps in making the uniform of the movement and that. Thank you.
I like the whole idea of them being the uniform is neat and they're it's ordered. They're tidy.
I mean, I see the training too, like marching that way. So that means they have been training a lot. I mean, they've been training to be marching like that.
We talked about the cadence. Now, if you notice, the drums are the very simple cadence that kept everybody in sync. Yeah. And it was not a rambunctious, it was not noisy, very simple cadence that is necessary to keep us in cadence. The uniformity, you look at their uniform, right? You didn't see shirts tucked out there, you didn't see this there, you didn't see a different thing. Everybody was wearing, they're in neat, they're in time, they're in precise, right? And obviously, as somebody said, they're trained. There's one thing I know I'm gonna throw at you, and I'm gonna throw it at you because later on you'll understand why. They're all carrying guns. They're all carrying guns, right? And I'm gonna throw that in for you because I'm gonna talk to you about that a little bit later on, so you understand why I bring this up. But they were carrying their swords. They were carrying their swords, and they were ready. They were ready to go. The drill emphasis that we bring into Pathfinder is to help the Pathfinders come into an understanding of what discipline is, come into an understanding of what it takes to be uniform, what it looks like. I mean, look at the number of people, right? And and look at the way they move in synchronized, right? And that's what we aim to do when we go on parades. Sometimes we go on parades, some of the things we see, I need everybody to look at these videos before we go on parade, but that's another topic. So let's get back to business here. It has been over 30 years since the Canadian Drill Manual was adopted through an initiative spearheaded by Bob Lehman, former Manitoba Saskatchewan Conference Youth Director. Since that time, the drill standard and procedures have evolved, thus precipitating the need to be current. Now, most of you who have seen our drill manual, and it is online. Some of these documents that you will see will not be released to you today, but they will be accessible online, and we are putting together a drilling ceremony manual outside of our policy and procedure and outside of our drill. It was intended to be an appendix to the drill manual, but we are going to pull that out and have it as a separate document for everybody to use. But there's sufficient information right now for you to get going. So Bob Lehman encouraged the revising of the drill manual, and Ontario Conference took on that task. And under the leadership of Mr. Delwyn Clark, the drill instructor for Hamilton Highlander, we accomplished the task of getting the drill manual done, and it is posted online, as said. We want to express our thank you to Mr. Clark and others who was instrumental. Mr. Clark did a lot of the majority of the work. Later on, we had a drill committee with Akira Lambert, Neil Robinson, Russell Lambert, myself, and others that did some changes to it to make it more Pathfinder friendly. Now, Delwyn was also a military man. So he was a drill commander in the military as well. So his expertise came in and gave us our drill manual as we see it today. Last revision was in 2008, and it is posted on our website. You can have access to it. We're going to move on. So let's look at Pathfinder drill, the aim of the drill program. The aim is to create some physical fitness. Physically, provide excellence, fitness exercise, help develop coordination of body and movement. And I'll tell you some of our biggest task in this ministry and our biggest challenge is working with the adults. The adults are so uncoordinated. I don't know what's happening with them. But physical, we want to look at the drill, help us to develop physically. It also helps us to develop mentally, develop confidence in leadership, stimulates the mind in giving and receiving commands, right? And then psychologically encourages teamwork and develops self-control and discipline. I'm going to move through the foundation. We're going to look at today, we're going to look at theoretically some of the basic commands of drill. We have attention, stand at ease, salute, and turns. Again, we look at the purpose, and we're going to break these down bit by bit. Now, as you were acquainted with Pathfinder, and you got to your club Sunday morning or Sabbath evening or Sunday afternoon, right? You got your Pathfinder together, somebody blows a whistle and somebody says, fall in, right? You fall in and you're gonna fall in one line. Most people will say, the drill leader will say, tallest to the right, shortest to the left, fall in, right? Now, we are looking at a chart in front of you. I hope you can see that. Now, with the first one, with one rank, if you have people or less, you fall them into one rank. If you have more than 6, you fall them into 2, and then as more than 12, you fall them into into 3 ranks. And usually 3 ranks is about what you need to do. Some clubs you need to go maybe 4 or 5 deep. So these are ranked. Now the shaded, if you're looking at your chart here, the shaded square or triangle there is referred to as, and does anybody know? Anybody know what this
marker?
Right. Okay, so you are reading. I'm just checking to make sure that you're paying attention, that you're seeing it says right there, right marker. And the right marker is the one that gives the cue comes in. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go into, but we want to step into a couple of the drill commands. Now, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up where you are, if you can. All right, so we're all standing up, right? And we are all looking nice and sharp. And I want you to put, you see the first illustration. You got your feet about 30 degrees apart, right? And that is important for stability, right? Now, what I want you to do, all right, on my command, I want you to raise your right leg, and I want you to bring it about half. Ladies, you don't need to bring it all the way up, but gentlemen, I need it to be 90 degrees, right, parallel to the ground. And you don't move, you can't hold on to anything, and keep that leg up until I say put it down. And mine is up and go. I'm gonna time you. Sister Sinette, you're still moving, so that means your leg is not up. I'm gonna get my coordinators to watch it. Just keep it up there. All right, keep it up. Sister Lydia, you're rocking, so I don't think you're... keep it up there. All right. Is everybody up? Like, all right. And down. All right, everybody sit back down.
Not easy.
All right.
Poor legs, so much pain.
That was less than a minute, folks. That was less than a minute. All right, let me see. How many people, how many people made the full minute? I feel if you did it, right? Now, now you see why I said you're less coordinated than the Pathfinders. Now, that's just an example for you to understand what it is, what it takes, the discipline that this takes. Now, this position that you're looking at is called the attention position, right? The command is given, Pathfinders, attention, right? Legs are at 30 degrees apart. Hands are straight down the side. You see it on the hand. That's the way your hand should be. Your thumb is sticking out, and that goes down the side of your pants, the seam of your pants, right? This is important, as you will learn later on, as we manage the exercise that we have to do. All right. So we're gonna go to our next command. This is at ease, right? At ease command is not a rest. It's not a rest command. There's different. You stand at ease is a relaxed position, but you're still in formation. You're still in formation. You're not moving about. You're not swinging. You're not. Your head is not turning. You're not twitching, right? You're at ease, and this is the position that's given. Pathfinders learn how to do this to manage their posture. It talks about having their back straight. This allows them to develop the discipline of posture. So this is not just done to torture them, right? We're teaching them how to demonstrate and to exhibit good posture, right? And this is all part of it. And you learn how to do. So this is standard, is at ease, stand easy, stand easy. You can move your hands to the back, you relax, right? But you still don't move, you don't talk. When you're online, you're on parade. So what we look at when we start out with drilling, we look at things you'll need to know. Number one, we talk about listening to commands. You'll hear on in the first video we played, you heard the commands being given and shouted out, right? Direction, you have to learn how to learn your direction, right? Your left and your right. I love to do Pathfinders drill down, and I love to do drill down with the adults as well, because we can make a comedy video out of some of the things we see, but it's great. How to fit, we talk about lifting leg, we just did that, 90 degrees, you got to get that. If we go back to our previous slide, right, the, on the second last, that's where you need you to be, gentlemen, right? Ladies, if you are wearing pants, it is required to be there as well. If you're in skirt, then we go to about 45 degrees, right? And formation and self-discipline. Good drill depends on properly delivered words of command, pronounced clearly, distinctly, and with confidence and determination, since these words convey order that are to be obeyed promptly. Going back to the first video, right? It's not a matter of yelling. It's a matter of being heard, right? A matter of being heard. When you get into drill, there are two different areas to look at. When you're given a command, there is your cautionary and there's your execution. So when your drill instructor says squat, or the drill instructor says pathfinders, okay, you are now getting ready to execute a commander. Pathfinders by the left, right? He's not telling you to turn left. He's cautioning you, getting you ready. By the left, left, turn. But all that came before the word turn is your cautionary, right? And then the command turn is what tells you to execute. Cautionary commands warns of the movement to be performed and is given first. The cautionary command may include additional instructions such as advance, retire. Those things we'll talk about at another time. There's a lot of stuff we also skip through because we can't actually get to them now. The interval between cautionary and executionary command should be as long as the standard pause, 1 second. Pathfinders, attention. You don't drag it out, right? So you're gonna learn that later on. So we're gonna look at the attention position, and we're going to move into the turn position. Closed fifth arm is at the side, heels together, feet 30 degrees apart. We talk about that. So now let's look at ease. We looked at that. Again, lift your knee, feet apart, arms behind, right hand, left. So we're looking at a right turn, and you can, if you're able to, you can try. And some of this, we're going to ask that you produce a little video of yourself going through these commands that you will send to us, and so we can see how well you're doing. So with your right turn, you got 9 degrees turn to the left. All right, arms at the side. You don't string your arms. A lot of people, if you're able to see me, right, when your arms are at the side, you're turning, right? You're not turning like this. That's not a turn. When you turn, your arms are to the side, locked, comes up and down, right? And so those are things with you. And again, that is that's what, when you look at the video with the march, and even in the first video, you see how the team can move in precise movement. So let's see if we can demonstrate this right now. So we're going to practice it. All right, so let me see. Now I've been playing with this. Let's see if it works on this. So this, we're looking at a right turn. All right, so here's, all right, did everybody see that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll try it again. Okay, right turn. Okay, we're gonna step through it. Hopefully my things here work. So on a right turn, you're fully at attention. Your arms are to your side, and you are going to make a turn to the right. So your first turn is this, all right? You notice the foot ends up at the back. On the front foot, you have the heel, and on the back foot, you have the toe, right? And you can try that because I'm showing you this because we're gonna ask you to demonstrate these on a video, tape it and send it to us, right? Then the foot goes up. Okay, in this case, we're making a right turn, so our left foot would go up, right? And we're up at 90 degrees. And then we're back down. So that is the way we would demonstrate a right turn. I'm gonna flip through this because my time is going fast and got a lot of stuff to do here. Our left turn, again, is just the opposite of the right turn. We practice that. And again, there we go, left turn. Okay. I think I did this twice, so see if we can do that again. All right. Then I think, let me see if we step through this like we did before. Okay, you got 30 degrees. Now you're gonna, instead of turning to the right, you turn to the left, right? Okay, again, instead your right foot will now go up, not your left, right? And then down. So that is a left turn. Then we have other things that we cover. We have left incline and so forth. You listen to Pathfinders, you have turn on the march, right? You have halt and so forth. I'm gonna try a march. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it. Now, an about turn is what we do. So we're gonna practice an about turn. So let me ask a question. When you're doing about turn, right? The command is given to do an about turn. Which way do you turn? Do you turn right? Do you turn left?
Right.
Right. Always right.
Always right. So about turn is always to the right. So let's see if this works. All right. Okay. So it went from front to 180-degree turn. You see the position of his feet, right? Okay. And the left leg goes up. Left leg goes up, and then down again. All right. So that is your left, sorry, your about turn. Your about turn. Let me see if we. All right. All right. We got a baby in there. So thank you. All right. So that is our about turn. And so fundamentally, those are the turns that we introduce in Pathfinder, right? And those turns are, we do variations of it. We, as I mentioned, we have the incline turn. We have the left turn, right turn, and we move that through. We can turn on the march, and we can turn stationary. Turning on the march a bit different, but we'll deal with that. We're going to talk a little bit about saluting. Why do we salute? What is the purpose of saluting? And everybody knows? And what do we call that process?
Paying compliments.
Paying compliments. Respect. All right. And when we pay compliments, in terms of ranks, can somebody tell me what is the procedure or the protocol for paying compliments?
The person in the lower rank.
Okay, okay, the person in the lower rank, he said salute first. Okay.
And hold it until the person in the higher rank releases.
All right. So that's the important thing. When the person in the when the senior person appears, right, the junior person, right, in terms of rank, is the one that initiates the salute, and that salute is then held by the person who initiates it. So if Pastor Martin walks in the room and is in full uniform, right, I'm his junior officer. So I will salute and I will hold my salute until he salutes and returns until he salutes and then returns until he returns back the salute, and that is called complimenting. I notice nowadays it is rarely used. I see area coordinators, district coordinators, executive coordinator, even the Pathfinder director will walk into a church and a director will walk in and say, oh, hey, Pastor Martin. And he's in full uniform and no compliment is paid. And he will be there, you know, I will walk in, same thing will happen. Right? We have our district coordinators walk into the clubs and nobody even recognized them. I remember back in my day, right, all you had to hear was the district coordinators here, unannounced, and everybody shaped up, right? But something is lost. That something has been lost, and this is where the drilling came into the ministry to help sharpen us up, to keep us focused and keep us disciplined. But we've lost that. We need to get back to that. We want to talk about saluting. We're looking at salute.
We never raised hand, Mr.
Okay, question. Go ahead, please.
When it comes to salute, is it staff salute too, or just the Pathfinder?
Everyone salutes. So a Pathfinder would be at the first level of the hierarchy, if you want to call it that. I was trying to find a better way to put it, right? And so the Pathfinder will salute their counselors while in appropriate uniform, right? They will salute their instructor or their counselor. Counselor will salute their director. Pathfinder salute directors as well. But a counselor does not salute a Pathfinder. A Pathfinder salutes a counselor. Right, always the junior that initiates that. So we have to teach them. A counselor walks into the room, especially when we go into formal ceremonies and so forth. When you, the counselor, walk in your appropriate attire, your Pathfinder is responsible to pay compliments. And when you walk in the directors in the appropriate attire, it is your responsibility to pay appropriate compliments. Now, looking at your salutes, we've got we have the right salute. We have the front salute, to the right salute, and we have to the left salute. Now, the reason I ask you about what the one reason I brought up the gun situation, right, is in our Pathfinder manual, drill manual, we used to say platoon. Now we try to keep our manual, while we borrowed a lot from the military and Canadian military, more specifically. And I know we have some individuals are here from other jurisdiction. We have folks from the U.S. and other places, and I know their command, the U.S. And a lot of people follow the U.S. Canada, we say right turn, left turn. American will say about left face, right face. Their commands a little bit different, so you'll hear, especially when we go to Oshkosh, right? But we maintain the Canadian drill, commands. So we took out, sorry, I brought up the gun situation because when we say, if you probably heard this before, Pathfinders order arms. Well, we can't order arms when we don't carry guns, right? And that is the difference. So the difference, so we have changed that, and that's been changed. I noticed as I was going through and preparing, there's a couple of things that we need to tweak in their manual. But we also used to say Pathfinder order arms, present arms. We don't use that anymore. So what we say is Pathfinder salute. And when you ask a Pathfinder to salute, they will salute, right, hold it proper, and they will hold it until you say attention, right? Then we have the front salute, the right salute. If we say Pathfinders by the front salute, it's up 2, 3, down 2, 3. But if you say Pathfinder salute, then it's up and hold it. Pathfinder to the front salute, it's up and down. Pathfinders to the right salute, it's move your head and down. Pathfinders to the left salute, it's up and down. So those are distinctions, and we use that to pay compliments. So I think I tried to do a little demonstration. Yes, I did. Okay. All right. So this is salute. So you hold it, it's there, right? And then Pathfinder attention, and it's back down. All right. Then if we go to the next, if we go to the front salute, then it's Pathfinder's front salute. It's up 2, 3, down 2, 3, right? And to the right salute, okay, again, it's up 2, 3, down 2, 3. And to the left salute, again, it's going to be up 2, 3, down 2, 3. Now, all the things I've been demonstrated are things that you have to remember to put into your video. And don't send me an email to ask me what they are, because you're supposed to be writing them down, right? No, we won't be so hard, but try to remember as much as you can and understand. We want you to understand the concept of drill and why we're using it. All right. These are some of our Pathfinders, and you've seen them at Oshkosh, right? Now, in our drill manual, while we're doing that, I have skipped quite a bit in the drill manual. So when you make reference to it, you'll see more information. Everything is outlined and documented so that you can follow easily. Now, you look at a Pathfinder, you see how much fun they're having, right? And for some of you, your Pathfinder spend many hours working on that. And together, they felt like they've accomplished something. And that's one of the things with drill, right? It brings our kids together, right? Yes, some of them don't want to do the work, but it does bring them together. And I know in Quebec they had an awesome time, and they continue it. We were awarded our Pathfinders with our basic drill and advanced drill. We make them work for it. So all advanced, you're gonna make them work for it. And because now, and one of the reasons we want to be diligent in working with a Pathfinder for advanced drill is because these are some of the individuals that we need to come back, right, into teaching our Pathfinders. We have some other videos. We're not going to touch those. We want to take a little bit because my time is going really quick. Okay, we want to take a look at induction, investiture, Pathfinder Day and ceremony, and so forth. Okay, our induction service. All right. I tried to find a nice picture of our induction service, and this is one of the best one I could find. And I'm looking at the candles leaning over, so I'm gonna have to figure out some way to redesign these things so that they look straight. We made sure we get appropriate equipment for induction service. What we want to look at is we talk a little bit about induction is meaningful and sacred services should be presented, impressed upon the Pathfinders. It's a time not for frivolity and comedy. We need to be serious about induction service. All right, so we're talking quickly about the induction service, right? We want to make sure you have the equipment. Why do we do an induction service? Somebody talk to me. Why do we do an induction service?
New people.
Say again?
Welcome new Pathfinders.
Okay.
To welcome new Pathfinders to the club.
To welcome new Pathfinders to the club, okay.
The beginning of the Pathfinder journey.
Beginning of the Pathfinder journey, anyone else?
When you're starting a brand new club.
When you're starting a brand new club.
Yeah.
All
To
right.
welcome the new Pathfinders and make them feel special.
Well, okay, make them feel special. All right.
To welcome new members.
Okay, say that again.
To welcome new members.
To welcome new members. The induction service is really a sacred service. It's not something that we just fumble through. And oftentimes we are just seeing where folks are just doing this just to fumble through to say we do it. There was a time when there was such discipline and when it comes to in our ceremonies. Induction service directors used to memorize their lines. Pathfinders used to memorize their lines. When they march in, they're marching proud. When they carry the colors, they carry them proud. Too often I'm going to churches and I'm seeing Pathfinders pulling pieces of papers out of their hand and to read it. I'm seeing directors who, even I understand it's a long line, quite a bit for the directors, but at least the first part of the induction service got to be memorized, right? The induction service is meaningful and sacred service, and it should be impressed upon the Pathfinder. But if we as leaders are not taking that serious, the induction service, number one, it invites the candidates to become a part of, not of the club, or somebody say club, and we refer to a club, I'd rather us refer to, it's an opportunity to invite them to become a part of the ministry. All right, and you have to be deliberate so they understand this is an invitation, right? When adventures are handed over, we have to let adventures understand this is a privilege, right? It is not. It's not a part of the process, but they're given an invitation. Right? We invite people from within the church, we invite them from outside the church, and we need to demonstrate this very clearly. The following standard, we've got some standards, but we're not going to get into it, right? We have documentation, as I mentioned, that lists all the criteria for induction service. This will be made available to you, not after the session, because we're packaging it into one, but if you need something, all the district coordinators will have access to information right now, but you can request these from us as well. Investigator service, and Pastor Martin touched on that earlier, the investigator achievement, right? And then we have a master guide investigator. I know some of you were at Oshkosh and were able to see the investiture there, right? Investiture is to be taken seriously as well, right? And Pathfinders need to understand that this also is a sacred service, because when we put a pin on them, we're not saying that you have accomplished. What we're saying is you are on the next level of discipleship, right? So if they're just receiving that as an award, then we're missing the point. It's the next level of their ministry, right? Well, during our ceremonies and so forth, a lot of people don't know where pins goes. We have facilities that give the information. We're not going to get into all of this as to what goes where and how it is placed, but I just want to give you an idea. as we look at some of the things that we do in preparation for ceremonies, right? How are our berets worn? What goes on our beret? You know, who wears what? You know, who wears a triangle on their beret?
Pathfinders.
Fine. And what age is a Pathfinder?
10 to 15.
All right. So if 10 to 15 is a Pathfinder, I know a lot of our leaders are still wearing Pathfinder emblems on their beret, right? But that is not to be. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we ask leaders before they're asked to serve is, have you been a master guide? And so we quickly get them into the BST so we can get them to master guide. So once they have reached that level, they're no longer a Pathfinder, right? So we make the changeover. We have the Pathfinder emblem. Understand all of this, what everything means as part of your ceremony. There's a lot that goes into ceremony, and I'm just barely touching the surface, right? We want to touch on the flag because there's a lot of question that comes up. I'm rushing through a lot of things. The importance of the flag. Flags are present in most of the Pathfinder ceremonies that take place. For this reason, they need to be handled with care and respect. They are not to be used for tablecloth or wrappings. Some countries find singing, adding borders or other items of flag would be also be disrespectful. So no, the Canadian flag has the tassels around it, but that's something that is done in some countries. You can't even do that. You don't allow your flag to touch the ground, right? When I talk about how we store a flag and how we fold it in the next couple of minutes. So folding flag also has to be done in specific ways. Right now, as I mentioned, there are a number of people who are online, are different jurisdiction, right? And the Americans fold their flag differently. And there's a reason why they do. We're going to talk about that later on. Canadians fold their flag differently. And I noticed there's some of us who are folding their flags and we don't even know why we're doing it, but we're doing it, right? But we're going to talk about a little bit. I'm going to demonstrate how it is done. There's other jurisdiction, how they fold their flag, how the flag is placed, where is it placed? Lots of stuff. I'm going to jump through this quickly. The diagram of flag, if you need this, we can get this out to you as well. You know, when you're facing the audience, when you're on the same level as the speaker, when you're in front of the speaker, when you're on the same level as the congregation, when it's above the congregation. So different scenarios are posted here, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to demonstrate. There's the speaker's podium. The flags are placed on the same level as the podium, right? The speaker. The national flag, in this case, the Canadian flag, goes to the right of the podium. Right? The Pathfinder flag goes to the left of the podium. So if, let's say you had the Canadian flag and the American flag at the same time on the podium, and where would the Canadian flag go in respect to the speaker on the same level? Let me hear your answer. Let me take 3 or 4 answers.
That would depend. If this happens in Canada, on the right.
This is in Canada.
Okay, on the right.
Okay. So to the right of the speaker, and in relation to the American flag, where is the Canadian flag? Inside or outside? Which is next to the speaker, the Canadian or the American?
Canadian.
Canadian, of course.
All right.
Canadian leads.
All right.
Always.
Canadian always leads. Always. So a lot
If
of us
you're in
don't.
Canada.
Yeah. If we're in Canada, a lot of us don't know it, and I've gone to churches where I've seen the Canadian flag put on the other side. When we have multiple flags on the same side, the Canadian flag is always on the inside next to the speaker. If we had a Canadian,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why would the American flag be in a ceremony in Canada?
Very good question.
Nice
All right.
question.
All right. Excellent question. All right. When we are doing a ceremony in Canada, as Pathfinder, we shouldn't be posting other national flags. Number one, right? If we do post other national flags, it may be because we have a guest speaker from that jurisdiction. It's not because we are from that jurisdiction that gives us the right to post it, right? It should be, if we want to respect the speaker and invitee, we may post their flag, but the Canadian flag's always next to the speaker. But traditionally, I've gone to churches where everybody's posting their flag, everybody's singing their national anthem, and I'm saying, but we're in Canada. If we're in Canada, there's only one national anthem we sing, right? If we are going to be appropriate and follow proper protocol, right? You notice if there are games like Olympic games and there are in other countries, right? They will play those country songs honoring the individual on the podium. But in our ceremonies, right? It's a Canadian is our national flag. That's what we should be attending to. That's the proper protocol. All right.
I just have I live in St. Stephen, New Brunswick,
Okay.
on the border of Maine. We have some members of our Pathfinder club who are from the Calais, Maine church. They don't have a Pathfinder club. So when we have members of their church in our club, then we do put up the American flag, just out of respect for their church where they do not have a Pathfinder club and they cross over and come to our club. So we will put up the US flag for them.
And in that case, it is appropriate then. And just make sure you follow the protocol for the placing of the flag at that time. So that is appropriate. All right. Next slide. Where do we put the flag when it's placed on the same level as a congregation? As you can see, over to the right is a Canadian flag, and over to the left is a Pathfinder flag. So when you're facing a congregation, looking at the congregation, right? If let's say I was a speaker and I was up here, but the flags are placed on the same level as the congregation, it will not go to the left of the speaker or to the right of the congregation, right? If we are at camp, and if I'm going towards the stage here now, right, and entering the camp, where should my national flag be? Anybody know?
To the left of the speaker.
To the left of the speaker? Well, okay, let's forget the audience. All right, the white portion of the stage, that's my campsite. And this is my gate going in, where can you see, if you can see my mouse, right? Okay, I'm entering the gate to my campsite. Where should the national flag be?
On the right. To the left. On the left.
Right. I heard to the left and to the right.
On the right as you're leaving the camp.
On the right as I'm leaving camp, or to the left as I'm entering the camp.
To the left when you're
entering the camp. And if you to check that when you go to any government building, you look at if the flags are posted outside the building, as you're entering the building, look and see where the national flag is placed. All right, I'm gonna move on. All right, again, if we have multiple, these are all provincial flags. And again, this is where the Canadian flag is posted when with the other provinces. Right, and you go from the provinces are placed in the order of their existence to the earliest, and I think Nunavut would be the next one. I think Nunavut was 1999 or something like that. And that's how they're placed. All right, moving on. All right, marching. We are marching in parade. Right, the Canadian flag is usually by itself out front, and if it is with another flag beside, you can put another on beside, Ontario flag and so forth. And if you are in procession and you have 3 flags, you can put the Canadian flag at the front and then the other 2 flags behind, right? That's the best protocol for that. You wouldn't put 2 up front and 1 back. You would keep the other 2 behind. All right, but you can have, in our case, the Pathfinder flag and the Canadian flag can march down together side by side. And if that is the case, where is the the Canadian flag situated?
In the right side.
Okay, all right. Is that your final answer, or do you need to call for
confirmation? Lifeline.
A lifeline. Do you need to call for a lifeline, or is that your final answer? and you're correct. It is on the right. Like, it is on the right. All right, let's move on. All right, so we're at camp. We've flown our flag. We had our flag raising. When does flag raising happen? All right,
Opening
thank you. Good
ceremony.
morning.
Sunrise.
At sunrise, and we lower flag at sunset. So we've lowered our flags, right? Here's a Canadian flag, and now we load our flag, and we need to put our flag away. So I'm going to walk you through quickly a quick demonstration of how this is done. If you have a large Canadian flag, right, this is how you would fold it. Well, hopefully you got the gist of it, but it takes approximately 8 individuals to fold the Canadian flag. You do it in rectangular square, you bring it forward, then you fold it. It's not done in a triangle, right? It's only done in a triangle if you are in the US. So please avoid trying to fold your flag in a triangle, because that's not the way it is. And if you look at the way the US stores their flag, it's in a triangle case, and that's how they display it, and hence the reason why they fold it that way.
I think I asked this before. I don't know if it's been answered. Yeah. The person holding the flag to the side, right side or the left side, if you're not using a flag carrier, which side are you holding the flag, the pole?
Typically, we want to see the flag in the center. We usually have a center hold, but if you're carrying it if you're using a side harness, it usually goes on your left, because then you move your right hand will go over top, your left hand will be going over underneath.
What is the consensus of shouting? As I'm still trying to grapple. What does it stand?
What is the consensus in regards to shouting?
Shouting with regards to drilling.
All right, there is no hard and fast rule. One of the reasons why the shouting happens is to command the attention of the pathfinders. Also, when you're drilling and you are in you're in a crowd, right? Your drill team needs to hear you, and so especially when you're with a drum corps. So the commanding officer or the marshal has to be heard, and so you have to teach them how to project their voice so they can be heard. So it's not just shouting for the sake of shouting, it's a matter of that they need to be heard.
Okay, so shouting is acceptable. Thank you.
Yes. I want to thank everyone for your participation. Hopefully this has been, I've given you something to work with in terms of a drill and why we do it. And we will carry forward with some of these as we go on. We will try to make our drill instructors available to you so that you can gain a little bit more knowledge. So once again, thank you for your time.